Shalom, family. We're in the metropolitan Detroit area, as I said in an earlier video, and our children are getting a chance to see what it's like in the big city. Some of our younger children that don't know anything about this. So far, I've taken them by the house that I've grown up in which it looks like a war zone now. Okay, it looks like a war zone, just totally different. It's amazing what a decade or two could do to a community. Okay, we'll be taking them by my husband's family's house where he grew up. We're going to be taking them to a number of different places to get a chance to experience what life was like for us when we lived in the big city. Right now we're at the house where my husband and I got married, which is family's house, and it's really wonderful being able to share how this whole family was formed and bringing them back to see the good and the bad, you see. And as we watch some of the news broadcasts of things that are going on in and around metropolitan Detroit, our children are understanding why we made the choices that we did. They are understanding that sometimes life can be a little rough in the big city. We talk to them very vividly about what is to come, okay? How important it is that we learn how to be self-sufficient. That is one of those lessons that all of us must learn, because there will be a day and time to where inflation will take the cost of food up so high that it will be difficult to even buy a loaf of bread, okay? So being able to do things on your own and take care of your own living and livestock and growing food and vegetables and fruits and what have you, that's going to be a very important skill to have. Unfortunately, a lot of our people have gotten used to a system that takes care of them. I did a video some years ago talking about food stamps and how many of our people have made that a way of life, okay? Not to frown on anyone who needs this, but what I'm trying to say here is one of these days the cord is going to be cut on that. And so what will be your options then? Will you opt to rob someone? Will you look for other ways to take care of yourself, or will you try to do something now? Okay, it's very important that we look at the here and now, that we have time. We have some time to where we can prepare. If you have the time, you shouldn't make any excuses whatsoever, because if we could just fast forward, I'm going to say 5 years, because not many of us can look ahead and say in a year from now things are going to be rough. We're just thinking that this gravy train is going to continue. You know what I'm saying? We can't even fathom a world without some type of government assistance, or a world without grocery stores. We can't even wrap our brains around something like that, because we're so used to this. We're so used to modern conveniences. But what if modern conveniences no longer existed? What if you couldn't go to the store and get a carton of eggs? What would be your plan then? And so it is very important that our people kind of shed this lazy mindset that they've gotten into. Many of us have gotten so used to being able to just buy from others that we think this opportunity will always be there. Not trying to scare anyone, but being able to take care of yourself is so very important. Guess what? We're not 100% there. We are a long ways away from that. But this is something we're working towards. This is something that we see as very, very important for our family. We don't want to have our children in a position to where they have to worry about where they're going to get their next meal. What are we going to eat? How will we feed ourselves? We don't want our children to be in that position. We don't know how long we as the parents have on this earth, you see. So we want them to already have it in their minds that doing for self is what is important. If you can't go to the store and swipe your food stamp card and get a cart full of food, what will you do? That is one of those questions that many of us refuse to even address. We don't want to deal with questions like that because we're like, well, you know what? I don't have to worry about that right now, so I'm not going to worry about it anytime soon. But we've already seen the handwriting on the wall. Around this country, they're starting to have more and more glitches with their system to where the cards aren't working or the machines aren't working or systems are failing or this is happening or that's happening. You don't want to be stuck in a position where there's going to be a permanent glitch, to where there's going to be a permanent shutdown, and you'll be just like some of the young ladies that they featured on the news. And I find it kind of funny, whenever they want to talk about glitches and things like that in the system, they always find a black face to go behind it, when black people do not represent the majority in food stamps and government benefits. They do not represent the majority. But whenever they want to shame someone, they put them on the news, and you hear the young sister saying things like, "What am I going to do? How are we going to feed our children?" They want to make it seem as though we are the face of, so-called black people are the face of government assistance, when we are not. Okay. All I want to do is encourage my brothers and sisters to look ahead. Don't think about just the here and now. Okay, there's more than just today. What about tomorrow? What about next year? What about 5 years from now? What will your position in life be? Okay, and if you're not sure about that, now is the time to make some positive advances toward what you need to be doing. I don't care what it is, whether it's securing yourself some land or learning how to grow food, learning how to raise livestock, whatever it may be, you need to make some positive advances towards that goal. And don't always assume that you have time on your hands, okay? Because the scripture does say that like a snare, that turmoil and chaos is going to come upon all those that dwell upon the earth. And so what position will you be in? Will you be one of those who are completely unprepared, or will you be one of those who sought solutions before the crap hit the fan? And with that, I will say shalom.